Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and this is going to be a video on something new that I picked up that I figured some of you guys here on YouTube might get some good usage out of, hopefully like I will. Now, if you're like myself, a lot of us have started dabbling in the art of paracord survival bracelet making. I know there's a lot of guys out there that do it for fun. There's some people that actually do it for profit. I myself do it, for a little bit of both. I like the fashion aspect of it, but I also like the usability of it. Having that cordage with me on a daily basis, just in case I were to need something like that, is always, a good thing. Now, I started out small, picked up maybe 50 feet of paracord here and there, started doing them. I really got into it, maybe wanted to do different colors and things like that. Other people saw them, wanted me to make them for them, so it kind of grew a little bit. What you see in front of me here is a Tupperware container, or one of those containers that you can pick up at any store like Target, Kmart, places like that, Walmart. This is actually what I started using to keep my paracord in, and just as I guess the hobby grew, I kind of outgrew this box. What I did is I placed a pretty big order with one of the local companies that I purchased paracord from, and the box that the cordage came in is what I was actually using as opposed to this box here. It's a pretty big box, but it was just very cumbersome. Very hard to find a spot to to place it in the house. If I had to go to somebody's house to maybe they placed an order for a couple of bracelets, I had to take this huge box with me. So it was just obviously not working for what I needed for. So what I ended up doing is this box right here has now turned into my kind of scraps, cordage box. So you guys can see, I started out using this kind of nylon cheap stuff, and then I transitioned to the paracord. But this is all, pretty much like chock full of, just those ends that maybe you have about a foot left, and you just can't, bring yourself to throwing it out and stuff like that. So you kind of keep it. So that's what this particular box turns out to be. So the other day I was kind of talking with my wife, and I said, hey, you know what? I need a new box. I'm tired of using this cardboard box to lug things around. So she said, well, why don't you go to Michaels? And if you guys don't know or don't have one by you, Michaels is it's kind of like an arts and crafts store here locally. And basically they carry everything for arts and crafts. So I know she had purchased something similar to what I was looking for there a couple of years back. So I said, you know what, I already tried Target, I tried Walmart, didn't really find anything I wanted. Because I had specific needs. I wanted a box something like this, something with a top, but I also wanted something with a handle on top, and I wanted a couple compartments and things like that just to kind of fit different things. So I went by and I actually found something really cool. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what I purchased. And this is it right here. Alright, it's a little bit bigger. I want to say it's about maybe 14 inches tall. About 16 inches wide, and as you guys can see right off the bat, it's got some compartments on top. What I really liked is that it was very flat on top, so if I needed to place other things on top of it, I could. And then the handle came up, so the handle's actually recessed into the top of the box here. As you guys can see, I kind of put some stickers around it and things like that just to get make it more my own. I'll give you a kind of 360 view right there. All right. And then over here. All right. So now one of the good things about this is, like I said, I was looking for something that had some extra compartments. So these compartments are actually built into the very top of the box. So as you guys can see here, it opens up right here, and just in here I've got some random things that I've made from paracord. I've got this pen that's wrapped up in paracord there, a couple of key fobs, keychains. This is an attempt at making Ranger pace beads. You guys know what that is. And then I have some other bracelets and whatnot up there. I've got some of these aluminum whistles that I ordered, and then just a couple little small bundles of some of the stuff that wasn't long enough to go in the bottom of the box, but I didn't want it to get lost and stuff like that. So this is one of those key fobs that you kind of dip or you coat with super glue, so it makes it really hard, like an impact device and stuff like that. This is a an impact device as well with the that key ring, like the keychain that I've made. So some of these keychains have glow in the dark ends right there. So again, just a kind of mixture of different things. You got the paracord bracelet, the King Cobra with the whistle there. So I really like that. It gives me quick access to that if I needed it. And then if I go ahead and turn this around, that pocket right there, or that storage compartment right there, was just a full length one. This one right here opens up the same way, but it has different compartments, as you guys can see there. So it gave me a little bit of room to go ahead and maneuver some of the stuff around, easier to get to. Like in this one, I've got some the buckles there in the different colors that I ordered. They come in these little bags. I've got some rubber bands if I need to rubber band some of the cordage. This one right here, it's got a bunch of lighters, that I obviously use to burn the cord ends. This has a couple more spare buckles, some of the bigger ones, some of these cord ends with whistles on them and stuff like that. This is actually the that Kershaw G10, and it's become my I guess my paracord bracelet knife. This is it's been dedicated to that. It's very thin, very lightweight. It's got a really nice point on it, so if I keep it sharp, that's it comes in handy very well. So these are some what are these wooden little balls, really good for if you're making monkey fists. That could be the center of it if you don't want it too heavy, but you want to have something sturdy. So that's what I've been using those for. And then a couple beads, to do cord ends with and stuff like that. And then just some number 0 S-beaners if I want to do like keychains and stuff like that. And I've got, I'm going to try and incorporate this sort of compass here into one of maybe more tactical / survival like bracelet. I've got a small little tape measure here. This is obviously, in case somebody says, hey, can you make me a bracelet? My measurement is 8.5 inches around the wrist or something like that. I'm good to go with that. So that was pretty cool that I had that on the top. So if you need to, go ahead and open it, it's got these closures right here. So you just pop that open. Then on the other side, it pops open as well, and then the lid completely comes off. That was really cool, especially since you have that handle to do so. And when you get inside, you've got this kind of tray in there, very reminiscent of a lot of toolboxes. You find this kind of design set up in them. And as you guys can see here, I've got a couple bundles of bracelets that I already made. Some of these I use, some of these I have in case somebody asks me for one or whatnot. These are more bracelets with buckles and clasps and stuff like that. Some of those County Com Yorick skulls, kind of woven into the paracord, so that's pretty cool. These are a couple other designs. Got a red, white, and blue there and stuff like that. And then these are some different weave or different patterns, that kind of experiment with. Some more thicker King Cobra ones. So, and then this is actually just a cheapo what is that, ceramic rod sharpener, which is what I use to sharpen my the Kershaw G10 that I used to cut the cord with. So I've got everything here, very handy, very easy to get to. As you guys can see, this particular tray also has a handle right there in the middle. So all I have to do is grab the handle, pick that up, and it comes out. And then underneath are all the bundles of the actual cordage. So as you guys can see, everything's pretty bundled up, the different colors. And I mean, I ain't gonna go through all of them, but I've got quite a few. This was 300 feet, of what color is this? Foliage green, and then just different colors. So it's really easy to organize. Everything is at your fingertips. It's right where you need it. And it makes it a lot easier to be able to work with, because before it was all kind of thrown in a box. I had to sift through the box to find what I was looking for. This way it makes it a lot easier. If you're trying to maybe do this as a source of income, it definitely makes it look more professional. Another thing is, once you take the top off the box, if you were to have to move the box from one place to another, sorry about that, it does have some handles that come up like this. And you're able to pick it up and move the box around, which is really cool. Now, one of the best parts is this box was actually selling for $29.99, which for the purpose that I needed for was actually a really, really good deal. But when I took it up to the register, it was actually on sale for $14.99. So $15 for this box. Very, very sturdy plastic. And I definitely thought that was a really good buy, especially for the price. I would have gladly paid the $30, but obviously at 50% off, you can't beat it. So you know, I went ahead and purchased 2 of these. One of these for strictly paracord usage, and then the other one just to kind of put odds and ends. You know, a lot of people have different things that, you know, you either have, you know, in drawers or, you know, in a bag or something like that. And, you know, sometimes it's stuff that you might use. Other times, like myself, I put it, you know, I'll put it in a drawer and I won't see it for months, just because it's very difficult to sift through a drawer and find things and stuff like that. So with the organizational feature that this provides, it makes it a lot easier. You know, you just kind of, you know, separate what you need, put it away, and then when you need it, you just pull it out. You know, it fits really nice in a closet. I wouldn't say underneath the bed, it's a little bit too tall for that, but, you know, definitely inside a closet, in a garage. You know, if you needed something like this for your car, maybe, you know, you got some tools, some jumper cables, things like that, you know, this is definitely a great buy. I don't really know who the manufacturer of this is, but again, you know, I found it at the local arts and crafts store called Michael's. Maybe you guys don't have one close to you, but, you know, or maybe you have something by another name. Definitely, if you've never thought of going in there to look for something like this, I would give it a second shot, because, like I said, that place didn't even come to my mind. You know, I figured, you know, maybe Target or something like that, you know, Kmart, Walmart, something a little bit more manly, I would say. But, you know, I definitely was glad that I took my wife's advice and went in there and found this. And, you know, hopefully it'll make my life a lot easier. So let me know if you guys have any questions, and I just wanted to share that with you guys, okay? Thanks.